Hi there, welcome to what is fast becoming, let's face it, a YouTube channel. And in today's video, we're going to talk all about introverted feeling and introverted thinking. And I want to discuss why I feel that both of these functions are quite linked. There's something mysterious going on here. They're not as far apart as we're led to believe. So yes, I'm an INFP, and as an introverted feeling INFP, similar to an ISFP, we use introverted feeling as our main function. And introverted feeling is supposedly very empathetic, values-based, moral-based, emotional, some people might say. And introverted thinking is, I think, seen as quite scientific and very logical. And you might think they put science over feelings. That might be a stereotype that some people might have, or they might think that INFPs and ISFPs are overly emotional and INTPs and ISTPs are incapable of showing emotion, or expressing emotion or using the emotional parts of their brain. I don't think that this is particularly accurate, though. I really don't think that's how it plays out in the real world. In some ways, it plays out like this in the real world. But I thought we'd have a discussion about to what extent this is true and to what extent it's not really true at all. So first of all, I believe that introverted feeling needs to be thought of as more of a thinking, because it is a thinking process. It's not like emotion versus logic here. It's not that kind of thing at all. Introverted feeling is a value-based judgment when you're thinking, but it's like subjective reasoning. So I think if you think of cognitive functions, I reckon there's like this big thing called logic and rationality, and there's just a different approach to it. But it's all the same, like coin, two sides of the same coin. So an introverted feeler might assess a situation or approach, say, a creative project or something, and they're going to be using introverted feeling, which can be a very mysterious process at least that's how it feels to the introverted feeler. I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm not an INTP or an ISTP. I'm not exactly sure how they go about things, but to them, I think their introverted thinking is mysterious to them as well. So if I write something, there is a guiding force that allows me to iron out the cracks. Is that a word, ironing out the cracks? I can work really hard on this project. I can throw as much stuff at it as I can. And then while using introverted feeling, to me, that's a logical process of assessing what is good and bad with every decision you're making. So you're making decisions in this case, you're not making emotional decisions, but maybe you're just assessing what's good and what's bad, and you're getting rid of the bad and you're accumulating the good. And then what might happen, just say you're writing a script and you've gone over it and you're just like, it still doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel right in the way I've written the script. So you rejig it and you just keep, your feelings keep forcing you to work on it. Same as if you're drawing something or doing something musical. So I guess in my mind, introverted feeling is operating, and it's unconsciously got introverted thinking logic constantly working with it. It's introverted thinking must be a part of introverted feeling and assisting it all the time, but just in a deeply unconscious way. And I think it works pretty much the same way for introverted thinkers as well, like INTPs and ISTPs. They seem to have a very good sense of introverted feeling. Obviously, they often seem to have a really good sense of themselves, at least that's how it comes across. And when I've seen INTP and ISTP artists, they come up with these works that have a lot of emotional resonance, and it's like they come up. Sometimes they'll explain it like they've come up with a formula, and they try to really make it sound very scientific how they've come up with this incredibly artistic statement that they've done. And I think this happens a lot all the time too. I think introverted thinkers are using introverted feeling as part of their thought process. They just might not be so aware of it. The way they're looking at it is they're just using pure logic. And they might be better at expressing. In fact, this is definitely true. I notice ISTPs and INTPs are much more, they really like to explain their process a lot more. They can formulate in words what they're doing. But I think that's only part of the story. They're able to express the stuff that they can logically explain, but they're unable to explain the introverted feeling process that they're actually using. Because they're obviously using it because INTPs and ISTPs are just very able to show such intense human understanding. I know you might not think so, but in most INTPs and ISTPs I meet, they have a very good sense of reading people and human understanding. And so those are just some thoughts I've had about why introverted feeling and introverted thinking must be incredibly close in many ways. In the same way as you'll meet INFJs and ISFJs who seem really similar, like an INFJ with their introverted intuition as their main function often shows so much introverted sensing. Like they're very good at recalling events. They can be really stuck in routines. All these things that you would associate as being introverted sensing traits, you'll see introverted intuitors exhibiting the same traits all the time. And you'll see ISFJs who seem to have this INFJ wisdom. I mean, this applies, I think, across the board. I think people might not agree with me if I was to say that, an ESFJ acts similar to an ESTJ, one using extroverted feeling, one using extroverted thinking. You might say, that's completely the opposite. But a lot of the time I get ESFJs and ESTJs mixed up as well. So I basically think this happens across the board. And obviously there are some stark differences between introverted intuition and introverted sensing, extroverted thinking and extroverted feeling, and introverted feeling and introverted thinking. There are some stark differences, but I really don't believe that they're as obvious as you would think. Introverted feeling versus extroverted thinking, on the other hand, now that is a pretty stark conflict there, and introverted sensing versus extroverted intuiting, I think you start seeing much more clear opposing functions there. So let me know in the comments what your experience with introverted thinking and introverted feeling is, and whether you feel that they're also quite linked in a strange and cool, mysterious way. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. So anyway, I've been Peter. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.